I did see that you were born in Pomona. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Pomona?
I never grew up.
Oh no?
I never lived in Pomona.
Oh, you were
No,
just
I was
born.
born there.
Oh,
My
okay.
parents, uh, I was when I was born, we lived downtown in an old wood frame house in Cabina, and then a year later we moved to the ranger station in San Dimas Canyon because of my father was a forest ranger. He worked for 43 years in the San Gabriels. San Dimas is named after a famous bandito.
I also saw, I believe, there's like mountaintop named after your father, right?
It's on a ridge. It's a peak. It's right below Mount Balti, Mount San Antonio, and it's just called Colver Peak. And Bush Sr. presented him with the Theodore Roosevelt a conservation award at the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he retired after 43 years.
What was it like growing up with your dad in that type of work?
Um, I spent a lot of time in the mountains.
Yeah.
When off during summer, I was always going to work with him and be out reading rain gauges and going up into these old flumes that were built by the Civil Conservation Award, Corps. I've never understood, like, why don't you bring that back?
Yeah.
You talk about infrastructure, get a new CCC going, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's that easy, put people to work. And, but this was, years in the 30s, I guess it was, or late 20s. And they built these uh, flumes and little ponds, and they were way up in these canyons, and they'd catch water, and there'd be salamanders and frogs in this crystal clear water. And I might add, no tags anywhere in those days.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've always loved abandoned and kind of spooky old, you know, empty places and stuff. And now they've lost all their intrigue, charm, everything because they're all tagged up. It's like
Yeah.
the decay is gone, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of my photographs of old downtown LA, the warehouse district and the bridges and, downtown, there's no graffiti.
Oh really?
The First Street Bridge is 2 or 3 East LA tags on it, and that's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's just covered.
Yeah, it's just
You know,
covered now.
like Al's Bar and the American Hotel. I did photographs of like in 82 and 83 outside that place, and it was beautiful, like 100-year-old bricks. Now it's got 35 layers of paint on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love raw concrete. I love old brick buildings, even though they're dangerous to live in California.
Yeah, the earthquakes.
Yeah, they're beautiful. But it's like they're all fucked up now. Everything that's reachable, and it's like a damn shame. Is this going to keep going the rest of our lives? We have to look at this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know.
Well, what was the deciding factor for you in wanting to pick up a camera to start just taking pictures?
Well, I had a friend come over and bring a camera, and we shot around my house, or well, my room, and in the yard that was at my parents' house, and I'd never used a 35 before. Sorry.
It's okay.
And we shot pictures out in the yard and in my room and stuff, and then I saw the results, and they were just so-so. But then real soon after that, I got a hold of a really cheap 35 millimeter camera, and at that time I started going to punk shows and taking my camera. In late '78, I started photographing the punk shows and the bands and Skid Row. Actually, I documented a lot of Skid Row. It wasn't a dangerous place like it is now.
Yeah.
It was like bums. That's not a PC word anymore, but they were bums and winos.
Yeah.
They're passed out in their puke on the sidewalk. I photographed a lot of that shit. But, now it's not PC.
Yeah.
The housing challenged.
So, in talking about the going to the shows, like I noticed a lot of those pictures, the lighting is you could see everything, and like in those venues, like I know it can get pretty dark. Like, well, what was your process in being able to capture like just the right lighting, I guess?
Well, At first, I was only shooting available light. I did not have a flash, and I was at the mercy of what was going on. And some of them were like they had two clip-on lights on the rafters lighting the stage.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you time it right or something and have the fast shutter and wide open or something, you could catch stuff. But I like, LA is where the stage diving stuff all started,
Yeah.
and I don't know what year that started, maybe 80, 81, or I mean 79 or 80, I don't know. But, I couldn't hardly get that stuff with available light, so it wasn't. So I got a flash, and I had a rinky-dink little flash, and I shot all my punk rocks live and group photo stuff with 50 millimeter lens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was right next to those people on stage with them. They were friends of mine, and I was 2, 3, 4 feet away from my subject on the stage. And that was before the passes and all that bullshit. There was just like,
Yeah.
small clubs, 30,
Yeah.
40, 50 people there, nothing going on, kind of.
How was it like the amount of people actually taking pictures? Because I know nowadays you see like an abundance of photographers on stage and side stage. Like,
It's insane.
how was it then? Like when it comes to like people taking pictures at these type of shows.
Um, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of mind-boggling that uh, it's become so trendy. It's like, holy
Yeah.
moly,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's like, well documented, folks. You know, I shot all my stuff with a 50 millimeter lens, a little rinky-dink flash that took batteries, and a 50 millimeter lens and Tri-X. That's all I ever shot with. I shot all my live photos and band photos up until 83, and then I got a piece of junk Yashica rangefinder 2¼ square format, and I did a few things with that, like 45 Grave Sleep and Safety album, and Autopsy, and School's Out. A couple other things at Grandma's House for Wall of Buddha, where I shot with that camera.
I know a lot of your work has also been used as like album covers. Is there any one in particular that you were just like kind of, I guess like mind blown? Like I'm afforded the opportunity to contribute to this certain album or this certain artist.
Um, this is a Hong Kong cafe back there in the background of that photograph. This is a self-portrait I did with by myself of myself. I only shot 2 frames. The other one, the tip of the gun's cut off. I did this. I measured the focal length and took it out the tripod of my camera out in the driveway and measured it. And it was like, okay. And I set the timer. And I couldn't see through the camera. It almost cut it off, but it didn't. This one I did a band photo of the Salvation Army. They became the 3 o'clock Salvation Army. I was going to sue them. And I developed this. I exposed the paper, put my hand in the developer and slapped it on the print and held it on there for about a minute or so. It kind of not really legible what's going on. I wish I had the original photograph. Punk grave robbers in Pomona. 45 grave at Spider Pool. I did this photo on a medium format camera. This format blows up into an 8x10, so if you use this like 12 inches, it would be about 10, and you could run the whole text down the side, but no, they cropped the photo off and put text over it so you can't see what's under it. It just kind of blows my mind. The first place my photograph of Chuck Burke was published. I did the composite with this like I did with the TSOL. I mocked up that whole TSOL cover, the print, the stat print, the typeset, and touched it up. This one, Johanna went. I did all these portraits on the back. Circle Jerks Group Sex, that's the first cover I did. These look like crap because you can't even see what's going on with the color overlay. The cover looks great. This was a really bad printing job. There's some of my Skid Row stuff. Roger Roderson, the late Roger Roderson, put that together. This is a real murder scene that I shot right after a China White show. I was at a Fear China White and Circle Jerk show. No, yeah, but right after I left that, I shot this murder scene. Christian Death, the real Christian Death. I did all the photos inside and stuff. Oh, here's the 20-minute exposure I was speaking of. I was hanging out with George Bellinger, the drummer from Christian Death. And he's actually holding this headsman's sword that I have and casting the shadow on the wall. I did this in my parents' living room. I did all the typeset and layout. I made a print of the band to fit this frame and printed it and put it in the frame and hung it in the wall. And then I had George hold the axe and make a shadow on the wall and did that photo for the back and did all that. I don't know. I never really thought about it that way. I don't know. It's like I was part of that scene. I wasn't an interloper, and I was contributing to the look of it and documenting it. I photographed all kinds of little bands that nobody's even fucking heard of, and I photographed them. They were part of the scene.
Yeah.
You know, most people just shooting the headliner and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video called Black Flag Reunion 1983.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple posts of it. There's one that says Santa Monica Civic. That's incorrect. It's been up for years. They've never fixed it. It's the Olympic Auditorium. But at the Olympic Auditorium, I'm the only person between the barricade and the stage. There's no bouncers or anything. And there's a crowd of 3,000 people, and I'm the only person visible shooting photographs.
Oh, wow.
1983.
It's not like that anymore.
Nope. I had a guy on social media said something like, I shot the Stray Cats in 1980 and I took 27 frames on a 36 roll of film and about half of them are printable. They're good. And this guy, I made a remark of that, and this guy said, oh, I took 2,600 pictures last night. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, with the digital cameras now.
Yeah, with a motor drive and all that. Mine, I didn't have a motor drive. I didn't have a telephoto lens. I saw some clown at a Iggy show that had a lens that was about 3.5 feet long on a tripod, sitting on the stairs at the Palladium having a drink, and he's probably getting Iggy's nose hairs, and it's like, wow, not even breaking a sweat. You know, it's crazy.
I feel like it'd be a lot better just like you being by the stage, being in it, you know, capturing that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was in it and on stage all the time. I never unplugged anyone's guitar. I didn't trip over cables. I was aware of I was in somebody else's turf in a sense.
Yeah.
And I paid close attention to that. I didn't bump into people. I didn't get in the way. And, you know, some people act like, oh, I own the stage. I'm a photographer. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. And then now everybody has a camera in their pocket with their phones too.
Yeah, that guy that said he took, yeah, exactly. That guy said he took like 2,600 photos, and it's like, why don't you just take a video and pull a still out of it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And my assistant, Taylor Wong, he says that he calls that spray and pray. You know, you're bound to get something.
Bound to get
I
something.
really wanted to ask him, like, did you get anything good?
So, how do you feel about the fact that everybody's considered a photographer or can be a photographer?
Well, I don't know. I think if you want to be a photographer, you need to study art.
Yeah.
You need to understand art, composition, timing, lighting, all that stuff, not just picking up a camera and starting to take pictures.
Yeah.
People for years only had their, like a cheap 35 millimeter camera or a disposable cardboard camera, and if they were going to take a picture, they'd point it at you and you're in the middle, and then they go click. And no consideration of what the background is or, you know, anything. And with the advent of phone cameras, all of a sudden you're seeing vertical photographs now also. You never,
Yeah.
for years, it was only horizontal stuff
Only.
because that's what, oh, I'm taking a picture,
Yeah.
point, boink. And it's like, no.
No, now it's yeah.
Yeah, there was a woman at my old studio complex that was up on the roof taking photographs with a panoramic camera
Mm.
of the downtown skyline. And I was like, oh, hey. And I'm talking to her and I said, can I take one? And she goes, sure. So I turn it vertical, put the city right on the bottom, and it go to grade H from silhouetted city, orange into purple into black. Long, tall, vertical photo. And I could tell she was like, oh, fuck, I never thought of turning it sideways. It was funny.
So, beside like you're well known for being like documenting punk in the early '80s and stuff like that. Like,
Mm.
what would you say, or what do you want to say about like that's not all I do basically? Like, what else would you want to talk about? Like, as
Um,
far as besides the punk aspect of it?
um, wait, I was
Because you were
trying.
talking about like you also like would photograph
Oh,
Skid Row and
yeah. Um, my photography was influenced by applied art.
yeah,
You know, I never studied art history. Paid attention to artists whose work spoke to me. And a lot of the artists that I like Albert Dürer and Hieronymus Bosch, and Egyptian art, but all the artists I like are ones that, like when photography originated, it replaced painters and portraits,
yeah.
landscapes, it replaced it all. The camera could do it better, so then abstraction and surrealism and Dadaist and all that kind of stuff arose, and that's when I like art, except for those few old ones.
I read something about how you photographed Ice Cube when signed a contract, or when
Yeah.
he was leaving NWA, I believe.
It was right after NWA broke up, and I photographed him for my friend Dino Paradies that worked at Priority at the time as an art director, and he hired me to do some press photos, which helped pay my rent, that type of shit. And I did some weird jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest would you say,
Uh, hmm.
or just like the most random that you never thought
Well,
you'd?
like when I first started out, I was living in Covina at my
Hmm.
parents' house, and I would work for the LA Weekly and the LA Weekly and the LA Bleeder, and I would drive from Covina to a job, and then I'd drive back, and I'd develop the film and process it and make a print, and then drive back and deliver it, and I'd get paid $30 or $40.
Oh wow, just for doing that?
Yeah, you know, did that pay my expenses? I doubt it. Yeah, but it got my name out there every week.
How do you feel about how like your work has influenced certain people? How impactful it is for certain people? How does that make you feel?
Well, it's kind of amazing that, like, when I was shooting the punk scene, nobody gave a damn. They hated punks, they hated the music, and um, I don't know.
I notice that's a common thing as well. Like people tend to romanticize, kind of like, especially in punk and hardcore. Like they tend to romanticize, like, oh, back then I wish I was there. I was because it was probably amazing. But then when you talk to people that were there, they say like, I mean, yeah, it was fun, but it's nowhere near as popular as people think it was. Is that
It was
correct
a
to say?
small scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very small. I've said before that there were probably 200 people that were in the punk scene, and half of them were the band members.
yeah.
You know, it was very small at the end of '78.
How do you feel? Do you follow it still at all?
No,
No, no.
no, to me, LA hardcore was punk rock. This
Yeah,
is punk rock, folks. Everything else is like, eh.
yeah.
And this is the shit. And I was there and documented, and it's kind of amazing. It's like I would have never imagined it would become the history it did or influence culture.
Yeah.
You know, I was a teenager and was up for the draft. 18 years old. I was just going to go to junior college and study more art, and I had to go down to my father. I'll jump back to my father. That he was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge. He was an 18, 19-year-old machine gunner in the Alsace-Lorraine in the French Alps and spent 3 weeks in the same foxhole. And growing up, I used to think my father killed people. That's fucking weird, you know.
Yeah.
And we were heading up to the mountains. I was going to work with him one day, and he ran over a piece of rebar in the truck, and he ducked. And I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "I thought somebody was shooting at us." And I was like, "That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
That's fucking sad thing." And I'm studying art, and they're talking like Vietnam, and it's like, huh, what, huh? No, no, thanks. I'm not interested. And actually, so I had to go to the selective service on Colorado and Pasadena, and then they called me into the induction center downtown, and I'm freaking out. I'm 18 years old studying art, and it was like, what? Vietnam, jungle warfare, huh?
Scary.
Sorry, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
I had friends in high school. They were all fucked up from that. The ones that didn't come, were
Yeah.
alive.
They were like excited about it, like about going.
Mm-mm.
Oh, they were just
They
from
got
go.
drafted and they
Oh,
got
I see.
fucked up and
I see.
dumped out. You know,
Yeah.
sad thing. And so I was 18, 6 foot, 134 pounds, and I got deferred because I was underweight for their specifications. And I was like, oh, what?
Oh, wow.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And so they deferred me for a year. I had to go back through that shit when I was 19. This was 1969 and 70. Not good years. Or 68 and 69. And so I was classified 1Y, which was deferment till time of national crisis or declared war. And Vietnam was never a war. It was a police action. Had it been a declared war, I would have been drafted.
Mm.
So a year later, they called me back in. And, I go down there, and I'd grown an inch and gained a pound. I was 6'1", 135 pounds. And I called my cousin's best friend, this high school friend, Marine recruiter, and they said, hey, John, what's the specs on somebody who's 6'1"? And he goes, oh, cutoff's 145. So the second time I'm going in, it's like, oh, okay. I had a friend who was in that induction center, a friend of a friend. This old friend of mine had a friend that was in that induction center. It was on 7th Street downtown. And he went out through a bathroom window or some shit and went down a fire escape with his paperwork and never heard from him again.
Oh, wow.
He had his shit.
Yeah.
He left with it. It's like, wow.
I see that you like collect a lot of things as well.
Dust, yeah.
What started that for you? Like
Collecting
yeah,
things?
collecting things.
Um, with my interest in applied art, I saw a Gustav Stickley armchair at a friend of mine's garage, and it had mortise and tendons with the leg coming through the arm and a dowel, and it's like, damn, that's cool. I couldn't do that, and I bought it for $5. And then a year later, through some friends that I inadvertently met that were arts and crafts collectors, that they told me, oh, that's Gustav Stickley chair, and then it's like, okay. And I used to collect everything with a prefix of art. I always said I collected art pottery, art deco, art nouveau, and arts and crafts stuff.
Yeah.
And once I became even more familiar with the arts and crafts stuff, I kind of got rid of most of the deco and nouveau things. I kept a few of the nouveau things. But I bought a pair of Frank Lloyd Wright candlesticks that were designed by him for an early house in Chicago,
Oh, wow.
just on aesthetic appeal.
Yeah.
In 1972, I paid $25 for them. I go, these will look good with my furniture.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff in my living room, I've owned since I was like, I bought it between 68 and 74, most all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Because I saw you have like a lot of photographs as well. Like, does it take, like, what does it take to be able to collect those? Like, I feel like some of those might be hard to like get a hold of.
Well, nobody wanted them when I was buying them like 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I was buying the postmortem photographs.
Yeah.
And the first day I went out and looked for some, I found two. I found a tintype from about 1865 of a dead baby, and then I found two other ones. I found two other ones, and they were some of the best ones I ever found, and they were $25 each. One is this white coffin leaning up against an old wood frame house that's whitewashed, and she's got a satin dress on and long black hair just propped up in the coffin. And another one is a small wooden shed with a wine bottle and a guy laid out in a cabinet with about four family members standing around. They're probably from 1895, 1900.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they were large format. And the guy said, "Oh, I had four other ones." I was like, "Oh, what the? Would somebody left these? They're amazing. They're unbelievable."
What is it about those photos in particular, like the postmortem ones, that interest you, that catch your
I just think it was
attention?
kind of fascinating. It's like back then, the photography was much more special,
Yeah.
much rarer. People didn't get their portrait, and it was kind of like the last chance. And they also romanticized death. It's like, oh, you're going to go off to heaven now, and that would be their last picture.
Mm.
And a lot of those, like the tintype, some of those exposures were like a minute long. They had brackets for people to put their heads in, and they'd sit there for like a full minute and stuff. And so it was a lot easier subject matter.
Yeah, because I mean, in school I remember reading about those, and you could see like the person that is deceased in the photo is still in the photo, but the family members are
Oh yeah.
kind of like blurry, like so like I get that whole like the minute long exposure. That's insane.
Yeah, the longest exposures I've done are a half hour.
Half hour?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
that wasn't sky photography, those stars. No,
No?
I did 20-minute exposures in the cemetery for Voodoo Church's album cover,
Oh wow.
and I guess the exposure.
Yeah? You
Yeah,
guessed it?
huh?
You
Yeah,
guessed it?
20-minute exposure, and it was spot on.
Oh dang. Damn,
I
that's
paid
cool.
attention to the lighting like crazy. I had friends that were photographers, and they're using light meters, and it's like, what are you going to do when the batteries die? You know? And then you can use Polaroids with a medium format camera to guess its exposure, but the reciprocity breakdown between the color film and color Polaroid is different. So it's like it still becomes sort of guesswork.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I did a lots of time exposures, multiple exposures, all kind. That was fun, all on film.
So going back to the collectibles and stuff, what other kind of things do you collect besides the old the postmortem photos?
Well, American arts and crafts stuff. I have hand-thrown ceramics, hand-hammered copper, paintings, prints, all from that era that I've been, that I bought.
Do you have a prized one?
Images that I have.
Just of anything that you collect?
Um, well, I have this painting in the living room that reminds me of when I was a kid of California, and it's these rolling foothills in the foreground and some rocks and some eucalyptus trees and a valley up into the mountains in the background. I don't know if it's a significant painter, but I just love it. Like every time I see it, it's like, that's what it looked like. When I was a kid, my great-grandfather and grandfather raised oranges in Cabina, and I used to think, like, one of these days, Los Angeles is going to touch San Bernardino.
Yeah.
That happened a long time ago. It used to be that, like Route 66, that, there was abandoned motels and shit like that out there. And like Guasti and Etiwanda, they had vineyards. They were making wine, and that's all dead, and all the orange groves are gone. And, like I remember when they built Disneyland, and that was like orange groves and bean fields.
Oh yeah.
There was shit down there. Nothing. And like we used to, my father at the Forest Service had a friend that had a cabin in Costa Mesa. It was like a, 1920 little wood frame tiny shack with a kitchen and two bedrooms for the beach. And we'd go down there and stuff, and that's all gone. They got high rises. You can't even see the ocean if you own a house down there now.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just everything's just being built up, the whole Disneyland stuff. They're basically taking over all of Anaheim now. Like it's just
Yeah.
so big now.
I have to research. I do not collect any Disney shit. But I found a pair of Mickey Mouse ears. They're real cotton felt, have a cotton printed Mickey Mouse, and it has white ears.
White ears?
And it says Disneyland is a Mickey Mouse operation. And I think it's from when they opened.
Yeah. How did you? Do you have like in your possession? You have it?
Yep, right here. No, it's in the garage, I think.
Do you remember how you got
I
it?
found it at the flea market. There's certain objects that I see at the flea market. It's like if you had any idea, I would be emptying my wallet at this moment. You know, seriously.
Yeah.
And I just like, I found a fucking branding iron with a swastika. You know.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah, break it out. It's fucking amazing. Ross Williams from Christian Death wanted to brand his ass with that.
Really?
He never did.
Yeah,
So
you can find some
I'm at the
gems.
flea market and I'm walking along. That's pre-war, has nothing to do with Nazism.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful symbol. It's too bad Hitler fucked it up.
Yeah.
But I'm walking along. There's this old farmer wearing coveralls and stuff, got an open air trailer thing and stuff. And he had about 40 or 50 branding irons. And the thing is that when the wood stick is gone from them, they're always flat on the bottom, and people just use them for candlesticks.
Oh wow.
You know, see if candles.
Oh yeah, you could see on that one.
Where the wood's gone.
Yeah.
You see, they have a wood handle to keep it cool because they're heating it in a fire.
Yeah.
And I'm walking by, I was like, oh, what the fuck? You know, and I said, how much are the branding irons? He goes, $12. And I was like, boom. And he goes, oh, that's a small one, $8.50.
Oh.
You know, and that's all hand beaten iron, hand
Yeah.
twisted and everything. It's all handmade, and it's like pre-war. It's just amazing, and it's like I would have dropped a couple $100 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, I could have one made, but I don't do that shit. I find real objects that I use. You know.
Do you go to the flea market often?
I actually stopped over 19 years ago when I bought my home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I quit going. People probably think I went off and died.
Oh. Which flea market would you frequent?
I have a 5-bedroom house on a 1/4 acre with a 4-car garage, and I still have off-site storage. That's how much crap I own. It's ridiculous.
Was there like a certain flea market you would
I went
frequent?
to every antique flea market every Sunday. I was out there in the dark for years and years and years. I started shopping in thrift stores in the late 60s. Some of the stuff I found was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I found a 8 by 12 foot American Indian blanket that was probably from the 1880s, 1870s. That was in good condition. You know, wasn't even or anything. It was all lightning bolt pattern. It was like heavy to fucking pick up. 12-foot blanket and $8.
Some people get rid of stuff they don't know what they have.
Yeah, I found a beautiful coverlet that they use for beds, a coverlet, and they're generally navy blue and cream colored warp threads, and they have little flowers and stuff. This one, it was brick red, forest green, navy blue, and a cream color warp threads. And down in the corner about this big, it says wove by William Fissig, Richland County near Bellevue, Ohio, 1843, woven into the corner. That was a pretty amazing thing. That probably ended up in a museum. It was beautiful.
Oh, you ended up not getting it?
Oh, I sold it years ago.
Oh. But you haven't gone to a flea market like lately at all, or
Never.
nothing like that?
I quit.
Well, what was it that made you want to stop going? Just because you bought the house?
Well, like I said, I have all this space, and I don't even have room for all the crap I own right now. I can't, you know, I can't be out buying stuff. You know, I buy photos, and that's about it. They don't take up any room.
Yeah.
You know, I've done a lot of social political sculptures, and I haven't been making them lately. I don't have access to most of my stuff. It's all boxed up, but I feel like, you know, I used to go to like a flea market and find stuff like that branding iron, and just like, oh, what? And I'd come home and I'd have 2 sculptures made in the afternoon on a Sunday afternoon because of what I found and what I juxtaposed it by when I got back in my studio. And it's like, oh, cool. Put things together all the time, and it was fun. I haven't been doing that. I kind of need to do that again.
When did you start doing that? Like, what was the first time you started sculpting?
Uh, Probably 1985, other than stuff I did in high school and stuff, when I started doing assemblage sculptures, which has become a common term. It wasn't very well known outside of art circles, that term assemblage. Now it's quite common.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff I see is just like people take a typeset box and put a dice and a doll arm and a dried flower in it and call it art, and assemblage art, and it's like that, huh? You know, that's been done,
Yeah.
and
What was it? What would be like what would inspire you to want to do the sculptures? Like, as you're doing it, what was behind the
well,
inspiration?
primarily all my sculptural stuff, it has, it deals with the demise of the American dream, all
Mm.
of it.
All of it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I did 116 volumes of Corruption in American Politics, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whole row of them.
as sculptures?
It's Encyclopedia Britannica yearbooks that I bought
Oh, okay, I
in a
see. Yeah.
thrift store because they're nice and big,
Yeah.
and I could buy them for 95 cents each all the time. I don't know why. I used to think like, oh, I should sell this and call it the book of the month, and then make volume 118, 119, and mail it to them every month, and they'd get it. They'd have to build another bookcase as it's ongoing. You know, I had people walk in my studio and they go, "Where'd you get those?" And somebody else goes, "Did you read all those?" And it's like, yeah, yeah. It's called Unlimited Edition.
But it was like in reading those that was inspiring you to do these sculptures?
Hmm?
Was it in reading those inspiring you to
No,
do
no,
the
no. It's,
sculpture?
it's a sculpture that I made. It's called Unlimited Edition. It just, oh, I made, my friend Fred Davis made me printouts that just said Corruption American Politics Volume 1. He had to manually change it every time, 2, 3, and
Oh, I see.
then I covered the books with those. And so it's just this whole 116 volumes of Corruption American Politics. And it, you know, people believe it's real, which is pretty funny. It's Unlimited Edition.
And you say you haven't been doing sculptures lately, but you want to get back into it?
Yeah, I guess I could say that. Yeah, you know, I tinker around. The whole place is kind of a, you know, junkyard of stuff. It just takes the juxtaposition to make it say something.
What made you want to start feeding the squirrels around here?
Um,
'Cause
well, like I took this place, you know, I consider my home a sanctuary, and I wanted my yard to be. And you know, I take care of the nightlife, the wild animals, and I love it. You know, I've got crows and blue jays and squirrels and raccoons, possums, skunks. You know, it's great. I had a raccoon buddy that I gradually started hand feeding him on my front porch. Sorry. And, you know, he'd come up and take peanuts out of my hand.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, they're climbing walls and bark and all that stuff. His front hands felt like kid skin. They were so soft. I was like,
Really?
what? Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, because like, as we're sitting here, I'm noticing like the squirrels coming by on the branches, and like I can hear them eating the peanuts. I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
It's nice.
It sets a like a welcoming
You,
environment.
you do not feel like you're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. And like I like how that stands out with your house specifically, because like yeah, we are in LA, but
You wouldn't know it.
you wouldn't know it. Yeah, you wouldn't know it. And it does feel very welcoming.
Oh, thank you.
So is there anything like that you're currently working on at all or planning on working on?
Trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
No, I'm working on some books.
Yeah.
I have been for over 3 years. I shot so much stuff in those days that, you know, it's just taken forever to scan it all.
And these are be like photography books?
Yes. I have a publisher, House of Blank, that wants to do a 3 or 4 volume box set of my old punk photos.
Hmm.
And screw it. And I've been working on that for over 3 years. And it's nowhere near done yet. A lot of negatives I have to rescan. They weren't done high resolution to begin with. Um, oh, yeah, I just broke this out. So knock that down. Um, Here's one of my business cards. And I've been using funeral sympathy cards for my business cards
Yeah.
forever with my information on the back. And they go in an envelope.
Has anybody ever like said something about that because it's a funeral sympathy card, or is it like, oh, that's cool?
Most people like them. I used to joke and say that it would weed out the clowns with no sense of humor, and I don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so a
yeah.
business card that edits clients, it's like, there we go.
A
Some,
filter.
some people, oh, what the fuck, boom, and it's like, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't want to deal with them anyway.
They would get them from me, so sometimes it's like, oh, don't have any right now.
Do you have a certain type of camera that you prefer using over anything else?
Well, cameras, different cameras for different photography needs. We were talking earlier about, I did that punk stuff, and then I got a studio in the early 1984 and started doing studio photography and location photography for record companies that actually paid me. Not that all the old ones stiffed me. I don't think I got a cent for doing Black Flag's Damage album cover.
Really?
Yeah. Um, so there's more to photography than shooting live punk rock shows.
Yeah.
That it's kind of weird. It's like so popular, but
Did you ever think it was going to get as popular as it is
oh
now to do
hell
that?
no, never. I didn't think it would become the history. Never, never. Hey, I shot tons and tons of film, and like had I known it was like what would have happened and how it was recognized, I would have shot twice as much.
Yeah.
And I shot a lot. Like I was saying, those little bands that nobody's ever, they wouldn't know they exist. I think that, I tried to show different aspects of the, like not just live photos, but I did band photos, I did conceptual photos,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. And then when I got a studio, I started doing different type of photography, kind of like, to me, punk rock was kind of like over. And I started doing all kinds of different stuff and different people, and I just recently finally got a copy. I photographed Brian Wilson in a sandbox.
Do you still go out and like just to take pictures like out and on about?
No.
No?
For years and years, I carried a 35 millimeter camera with me all the time. It was always over my shoulder. I never wore it around my neck, which I think looks like a lame tourist. And also, it's more kind of protected there.
Yeah.
I used to have a gas mask bag that I'd throw my camera in, a couple rolls of film, and I just had that, and it didn't even look like a camera case or anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for years I carried around, I wasn't taking any photos, and then regrettably, I twice missed getting photographs of paramedics in front of two different McDonald's. And it's like, I would have liked to have taken those photos.
Yeah.
But I didn't, pre-cell phone.
Yeah. But these days you don't really do it.
I take pictures. I've been shooting a whole series of photographs of clouds. The word pareidolia, where you see faces and objects.
Oh yeah.
That I've been photographing a lot of clouds for quite a long time now, and I'm getting quite a collection of. It's like weird. There's eyes with pupils, a nose, a mouth. I've got some that have fucking teeth in their mouth. It's like, tell me how this can happen.
Yeah.
The first photograph I took of a cloud looks like this demonic face with the moon in its mouth.
Oh wow.
And there's a tree in the corner, and then it's a vertical photograph. And I'd just gotten an iPhone, and I was like, oh, whoa. And I raised up the phone, and it came into view. It was like, I was like, I'm going to get this shit. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, boom, it's perfect. It was pretty amazing. It was like, I've been like I stopped shooting photographs about maybe 15 years ago.
Hmm.
I was doing 4x5 architectural photographs of recording studios and post-production facilities and recording engineers and stuff. I did that for about at least 30 years. Oh, I was going to say I've never advertised. I've never had a published phone number. I've never ran an ad. I've never had a published phone number. And I've never asked for work. And I use those funeral sympathy cards for my business cards. And so, I did 35. I did medium format, square, and medium format, you rectangle, and 4x5 stuff. And like the 4x5 architectural photographs, that's the antithesis of the punk stuff. It's like I'm doing, with my big Jitsu tripod and the 4x5 camera, shooting these rooms, like I'm doing 1 minute exposures, F32 or something like
Yeah.
that, and they're crystal clear. It was really fun doing that stuff. I enjoyed it.
Do you still have cameras, like an array of cameras that you
I
own?
never had a real array of
No.
cameras. I had Olympus OM1 is pretty much what I used for all the punk stuff I had
Hmm.
shot, and with a 50 millimeter lens. No motor drive, no telephoto, none of that. And a little hot shoe mounted flash that took about 8 or 10 seconds to recycle once I did a photograph. It would, I'd sit there and a lot of times it was like, oh, lighting's cool, and I would shut my flash off and then open up and shoot a picture or two, and then it totally changes. I'd turn my flash on and wait about 8 or 10 seconds. Oh, wait, no, it's still available light, looking good, and I shut it back off. And yeah, one time at the whiskey, somebody had jumped off stage and busted the flash off of the little hot shoe mount, and I honestly took the that thing and I used duct tape up and over and down and managed to balance it on
Yeah.
there, and was shooting the show with the whiskey, and I changed the roll of film in my camera. I kept that shit taped onto one side. I opened my camera, changed the roll of film, got that thing, slapped it back over, and I shot a whole nother roll of film with that thing just kind of up there like weep. I shot the photograph that I'm most known for, I think, is the photograph of skateboarder punk Chuck Burke doing a forward somersault off stage at a DOA Adolescence and Stiff Little Fingers show at Perkins Palace. That was about 3-4 miles from here, and I shot that photograph on July 4th, 1981.
Oh, wow.
The fact that I was on stage is what makes that photograph for me, which I was on stage a lot, like I spoke about earlier, and like it silhouetted him going into a void, which
Yeah.
if I'd been in the crowd and he was there and the guitar players and the lights, the curtains, all that shit, it would not be the same photo.
No.
And he went dunk, 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 bam, and it's in focus, tight, perfect
That
focus.
timing, man. That timing was perfect too.
Oh yeah, the proper millisecond.
Do you have a
Yeah,
method to that at all, or is just you
paying
got lucky?
attention to stuff.
Yeah.
I like when I was shooting the live shows, I would be photographed into the rhythm of the music. I knew the songs and the bands, and it was like da 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 da. There's the drama, boom, that type of thing. And
Yeah.
I would position myself so that I could get a photograph of the singer without a bozo nose microphone in front of his face.
Yeah.
I see all these pictures that got a Shure microphone. It looks like a bozo nose. It's covering his face. Why are you bothering taking that? It's like, a lot of times if you're photographing a singer when they're holding a note is when to take the picture. Otherwise, it's random because
Yeah.
they're changing. And it's the strangest thing, like how if you take a still photograph of somebody talking, they're going like,
Yeah.
and making these, it's like, wait, I didn't do that to say hello. I did not do that, And you do a still and it's like, wait, what? All these grotesque faces if you freeze frame it, and that can happen.
I really appreciate you giving us the time
Oh,
and even inviting us into your home. Like,
thank you.
I truly appreciate it.
album covers do you think you've done?
I don't know. I'm guessing like 500 easy. A couple of them are good. That's the main point. A couple are good.